Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to send all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash. This is your brother Kabash coming at you with another lesson. Today I want to talk about a famine is coming. A famine is coming, okay? Not only a famine of food is coming, but also a famine of the word, okay? And right now, you have a lot of places that are reopening. A lot of places are going back into business, and basically what these elites are doing are they're giving you a feeling of false hope, and they're also distracting you with the George Floyd situation. But Bible prophecy did say nation should rise up against nation. Okay. um I'm gonna let some of this video play, and then I'm gonna get into some of the scriptures, and then we'll take it from there. Let me go back to the beginning. Okay.
Hey guys, Christopher Green, AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Please like and share this video. Let's have a very important conversation about what I think is coming next to the United States of America and worldwide. We are seeing a second wave grow all across the continental United States in major states like my home state in Arizona and Texas and Florida and a dozen more. And now we're hearing from major retailers like Apple Computers that they are now going to shut down their stores again in America after just reopening them a couple of weeks ago. Now, we had talked about this, that I believed that this was a fake reopening, and that basically I called it a hopium event. It's based on optimism and a falsehood that things were improving when they really weren't. And now we're seeing more fears. Yesterday I did a report out in Australia. According to their officials, their electrical grid was under attack by a quote-unquote state power, of which they don't really mention who the state power is or was. Now, we can deduce from the likelihood and probability there's only a few countries around the world that actually have this capability. The United States, European nations, China, Russia, Iran, maybe North Korea, that could actually cause an event like that. Now, we also had a very strange and mysterious blackout of cell phone service. Many of you can attest to this across the country on both the east and west coasts of the U.S. just about a couple of days ago. So what's going to happen next? This is what we need to understand. You got to look at it from the lens of what the agenda is. And I've talked about this for many months. Since the beginning in January, when we first saw the infections in China, and then we saw it swiftly move to Europe with forced lockdowns in Italy and France, every European nation, and then moved its way to North America, the United States, and Canada. Crisis after crisis after crisis after more crisis. This is the intent, and this is the agenda. Keep the American people on the defensive, right? We saw, for example, a shutdown and crisis in food production and long-term food storage. Couldn't get any of this stuff. We saw meat plants shut down. We saw people not being able to get toilet paper, other basic medical needs and supplies. I think that that's going to happen again, especially in a second wave, if not a third wave scenario. So what comes next? Notice that the original crisis of the lockdown and the virus quickly transpired and turned into another, what I believe to be manufactured event, divide and conquer, which took people to the streets of America to fight each other. And notice all of that energy, all of that.
And you notice that with the George Floyd case, with George Floyd situation. Okay, the media is amping up this situation, and protests are going on and stuff like that. As many black men who have been brutally murdered, okay, in the past, for some reason the George Floyd situation is just making everybody pissed off. And it's crazy, man. So the media is really pushing this. With Rodney King and the other brother who got choked, Trayvon Martin, that slowly went away. But mainstream media is keeping this George Floyd situation going. And that's one way Esau is trying to divide and conquer. And scripture just says, nation shall rise against nation. And Esau is putting the fuel on the fire for that, man. You got Jacob and you got Esau. Okay. And it's not crazy, it's true. These scriptures are popping out, man. So let's get back to the video.
Anxiety and depression and anguish after the government shut down the United States for really the first time in history and caused record 40 million people to be unemployed and record bailouts in the amount of $6 trillion plus more dollars and rates going to zero and then soon negative. To diffuse that, right, they turn the people against each other. So they're focused on other issues but not focused on what really happened. So what really happened? What really happened is the greatest wealth transfer and power grab that we've ever seen in world history, as we now enter a brave new world and a new agenda. Now, I also wanted to talk about the threat of EMP and electromagnetic spectrum, of which I've read all the declassified documents and LeMay papers and the paperwork that's come out from our top generals are very worried about this. Of course, this ties into Elon Musk's Starlink project, of which he receives taxpayer government subsidies for all of his companies, whether or not that's Tesla or the launching of satellites, SpaceX, into our skies. This all plays in a very much like Howard Hughes-like fashion, where these private quote-unquote individuals actually work hand in hand with the U.S. government to accomplish strategic objectives. It's far more likely that in a grid down, as we saw again in the news with Australia's system being affected yesterday, although the power didn't go out, everything seemed to be working normally. All those reports hit the news for a reason, and you're seeing that propaganda for a reason. So, again, problem, reaction, solution. What is the agenda? What will be the next inflection and crisis point? One of my personal fears, has been for years, one of the reasons why I prep so much, is that in the event of an EMP.
Now, you heard he's a prepper, okay? But I don't know if this guy's a Jake or not. He could be. He has more Edomite features, but basically, if he's not a man of the Lord, he's prepping for he's basically prepping for the men of the Lord. Okay, and when you go throughout the video, he does have a company, a prepping company you can buy from. His company, you can buy food or like doomsday prepper food and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if he's not a man of the Lord, if he's a Edomite or whatever nation he is, if he's a heathen, and even though if he's a man of the Lord, if he's Salakia, even if he's from the tribe of Jacob, a descendant of Jacob, if he's not a man of the Lord, at the end of the day, he just making all that food for the men of the Lord who are in truth. Okay.
Even if it lasts, which this is what is most likely, it lasts, say, for a couple of hours. It's a targeted, isolated event. Maybe a day, maybe a couple days, maybe a week, worst case scenario. That's about as long as it can last without there being, people very, very afraid. And it's also all they really need to push forward the agenda for more geopolitical conflict. Just like CV. And the virus has been the excuse for the popping of the bubble of the economic collapse, right? It's no politician's fault. It just happens to be the virus, right? The bailouts had worked. It's just the virus, right? They always blame something. It would be very easy to blame a rogue state actor like China, Russia, Iran, or North Korea for the reason for an event like that, which then would give cause and motive, and then more importantly, your government could sell you the idea of a new war as an act of self-defense as a result of those events. Again, these people prey on fear. The more fear,
Okay, now who are those people he's talking about? He's talking about the elite. They prey on fear. Okay, they prey on that. In the scriptures, it says, roughly paraphrasing, that Esau was a cunning hunter. Okay, he gets a thrill out of hunting people. He gets a thrill out of putting fear in people, man. You know,
American people have, the more control that they have. Keeping you at
and that's what Esau likes. Esau likes to be in control. Okay.
the low vibration where you can't take care of yourself, so they, the state, can quote unquote take care of you. Again, what people aren't really talking about, I want to hear your thoughts on this because, you need to be thinking critically. What I do see happening next and affecting all of you is I think there's going to be another food crisis. And it's one of the reasons why I think you should get food today. Click the link below, visit us at store.amtvmedia.com. I'd be stocking up. We just got our 30, 60-day packs back.
Now, see, this guy, he's a real wise man. He's also preying on the fear of people also. But what he's doing is trying to inform you of what's going on, and also giving you updates and letting you see articles and giving you up to date news on what's really going on in the world. But at the end of the day, he's really just trying to make money. I don't know if this guy has a bunker or not, but he could. You know, he could, and he's making money off of which is, hey, you can make money off of what's going on right now. If there's a commodity that people need, as long as it's righteous, selling it to them, then that's lawful. Look at when you go into Daniel, man. I mean, not Daniel. Which one was it? I forgot which. I forgot which book it was, but Joseph, Pharaoh told Joseph about his dream. Okay, and Joseph told Pharaoh that he's going to have 7 years of good food, and everything's going to be plentiful. Then 7 years of famine. Okay, but if you are in the truth, if you are in the truth, you know, preparing yourself mentally for what's going on and what's about to happen is more important than trying to prep for food. Now, should you not prepare for food? Yeah, you should. Be circumspect. We don't know if we're gonna be, if the feds are gonna come and get us or what. But during this coronavirus situation, I'm sure you have brothers go out there and buy extra cans of soup, extra bags of rice, just in case, because we don't know, as a human being, as a human, and being a mortal creature, you don't know what's going on. Okay. But I'm gonna let some of this video play a little bit more, then I'm gonna get into it.
All of our delicious dinner and food entrees, our breakfast entrees, our bug out bags, our back and stuff. I'll be getting this stuff now because I can only imagine if we're already having rising reinfections, according to mainstream reports and the officials, in the dead heat of the summer, when it's 109 degrees in states like Arizona, then I can only imagine, and I'm sure you can, how bad it potentially could be during flu season in a couple of months.
Yeah, man, it's like summertime, dead heat, and you got the media still saying that the coronavirus are infecting a lot of people because of the reopening. When in the world can you contract a cold in the summertime? I can understand you got allergies or whatever, flowers are blooming, something like that. But that's something you really got to think about, and that's how you got to know that this is planned. It's planned, and the media is feeding you this information, or people are soaking this information, this false information, up like a sponge. Okay, putting on masks, it's hot as hell. You got to stand in the grocery store line with your mask on in the heat. You got to stand outside and outside a restaurant to get your food. You know, and to tell you the truth, I really don't like going out in the afternoon anymore. I prefer to go between the hours of probably between the hours of 6:30 and 7:30. You know, because you got a few stores here and there that are open late. You know, Walmart is, I think Walmart is closing at 9:30 now. Some of the grocery stores are starting to close later now, and you know, I prefer to go out later, man, because this is ridiculous. But I'm gonna let this video play a little bit more.
As we approach the winter and towards the end of the year. So have food. It really is your greatest currency, and you need long-term shelf life of a minimum, in my humble opinion, of 25 to 30 years. Because if the power goes out, your freezer and your refrigerator is not going to work unless you have backup power, either gasoline generators or solar, which are other things that you should have. That's why dry, storable food is important.
Yeah, brothers. If you do get food, I suggest that you get, you know, and I'm not telling you to uh um do this. How can I say it? This be circumspect. I'm not telling you to put your trust in this what I'm about to say, but be circumspect. You know, be circumspect. Just in case Esau, well, when, not just in case, but when Esau decides to put a lockdown on on America again, or the world, the world. You know, you have different canned goods you can buy right now. You can go to, there's a store called Save a Lot. There's a lot of stores. Um, Aldi, Walmart. Walmart has cans of foods. You can get like beans, stuff like that. Vacuum packaged food. Also, you can get rice, and which I'm gonna start. You know, I'm gonna start prepping myself, but not prepping for my soul to get saved. Just being circumspect on what's going on, and just in case. You know, at the end of the day, we don't have to worry about what we should eat or what we should drink. The Most High is gonna take care of us. But okay, but just like in the book, just like, as a matter of fact, let me get that right now. Okay, let's go to the book of Genesis 41, because I know some brothers are probably like, well, you don't have faith in the Lord. I have faith in the Lord, but at the same time, if you see a problem about to come, you know, you should take care of it the best way you can. You know, if the Most High allows you to. Okay. Let me start at Genesis 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, and the dream of Pharaoh is one. Yahweh hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good king are 7 years, and the 7 good years are 7 years. Hold on, let me start again. Okay, this is Genesis chapter 41, starting at verse 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. Yahweh hath shewed Pharaoh that he is what he is about to do. The 7 good knee are the 7 good king are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. That 7 years the dream is one, and the 7 thin and ill-favored king that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Okay, this is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Yahweh is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. So the Most High was about to bring a famine. Okay, now when it pertains to this truth in scriptures, you have to prepare yourself for what's about to happen. That's why it's important to pray daily. Read your scriptures, look at lessons. You know, meditate on the Lord. You know, fast if you can. You know, all right, pray, stay in prayer, because we're about to enter Jacob's trouble, man. You know, and there's gonna be a famine of the word. All right, and actually, that's in the book of Amos, chapter 8 and 11. That I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor thirst, but of hearing of the, but of roughly paraphrasing, but of the hearing of the words of the Lord. Okay, all right. But during the time of Jacob's trouble, man, when these trucks stop coming in, there is going to be a famine of food. Okay, hopefully not for the men of the Lord. You know, Lord willing, you might have to go out for food for a few days, or you might eat every day. I don't know. I don't. It depends on the situation that the Lord has for you. Okay. But if you can, just in case, I'm not telling you to spend all your money, brothers. If you can, maybe you should buy a few more cans of food, a few more bags of rice, a few more bags of sealed beans, and stuff like that. I'm not telling you to go all out with it. And then if you do it, you're not being unfaithful. You just prepping. Look at what Joseph did for Pharaoh. Pharaoh had a dream, and he told Pharaoh, and Daniel, I mean Salakia, not Daniel. Joseph interpreted the dream to Pharaoh. Okay, he interpreted the dream to Pharaoh. All right, let me keep reading. Let me see. Let me start at verse 28 again. This is a thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Yahweh is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Be there even 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Okay, and right now, yeah, we have, even though we are the farmers and stuff. You read reports about farmers and stuff like that, having droughts, and the crops not growing. Food is somewhat fairly cheap right now. It's still on the shelves. Okay, you still have a pretty good amount of food right now. So this is like right now, food is like still somewhat plentiful. Still somewhat plentiful. I mean, yeah, you're going through some of the restaurants, some of the stuff in the restaurants, their menu, they can't get certain stuff in, but you can still go out to eat. Same thing with the grocery store. Some things they might not have, but they still got $1 cans of food, 89 cents cans of food, you know. Okay. Let me keep reading. Let me see. Okay, let me start at verse, Genesis 41, starting at 30. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. Okay, there's a famine that's getting ready to consume America, man. All right. Not only the word, but hey, people gonna want to eat. People might turn into cannibals. Some people might turn into cannibals. You know. All right. People in America are used to getting food whenever they want. They're used to getting things whenever they want. They're gonna bug the fuck out, man, if they gotta fast. If they're not used to fasting. All right, let me continue to read. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. Okay. Let me see. Let me skip down. Um, okay, let me skip down to 53. In the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and 7 years of Darth began to come. Okay. You know what? No, because I want to get to the part where Joseph stored up corn. Okay, let me go to verse 46. Okay, this is Genesis 41 and 46. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years of the earth brought forth handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field which was round about every city, And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, as much until he left numbering, for it was without number. Okay. Now I'm not telling you brothers to be like Joseph and buy everything. Some of you probably lost your job. Some of you probably you're not working right now. But at the same time, you can try to prep. Well, I don't want to say prep, but be circumspect and just take heed on what's going on, and just try to look towards the future. Okay. Now at the end of the day, it's just gonna require faith. All right. It's just gonna require faith. But if you can, hey, buy an extra can or two every time you get paid, or if you get a little bit of money, buy an extra can or two of food. Uh, one thing that comes to mind is when Yahweh Shai had to feed the thousands of people, and what was it? What if you're paraphrasing? What was it? 2 loaves of bread. Let me see. Hold on. I don't want to butcher it. Let's see. 2 loaves of bread. Okay, 2 loaves of bread. What was it? 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish. I think it was in the book of Matthew. Um, Let me see. Let's see. Crowd. Let's see. Okay, it says in Matthew 14 and 17, we have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. They answered. But you brothers know the story how Yahweh Shai blessed it. Okay, and maybe you at the end of the day you might only have like 2 cans of beans or in a bag of rice. But every day you go in that cupboard, you never know. The Most High might increase that, man. Every day you go in your cupboard, you'll see 3 cans. In your mind you be like, wow, well I know I used a can last night. You might have a family, and Most High might increase those cans, man. Just pray over it, what you have, okay? And if you can buy an extra can or two, do it. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And maybe you can provide for other brothers too. Like a brother lost his job, you know, you can buy him some extra food or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, when you read further down, there was a famine, and a lot of people went to Joseph, man. And Pharaoh said, "Go to Joseph." As a matter of fact, let me finish reading it. Let me go down to verse 53. In the 7 years of plenteous, this is Genesis 41 and 53. In the 7 years of plenteous was in the land of Egypt. Salakia. It says, and the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and 7 years of dearth began to come according as Joseph said, and dearth was in all the lands, but in the land of Egypt there was bread. Okay, and when the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. And the famine was all over the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt, and all countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy corn, because that the famine was also sore in all the lands. Okay, and I got kind of sidetracked when I was doing this. I mean, I meant to go into like the word and stuff like that, but the spirit was guiding me um to do, I guess, to speak on trying to prepare for what's about to happen. Prepare right now, brothers. Um, you know, not only prepare physically by buying, some extra cans of food or stuff like that for your family or yourself. Also, gird yourselves spiritually, man. Why this word is out. The guy was talking about an EMP attack or something like that, a power shortage like that. So once that happens, there's definitely gonna be a famine of the word. So take advantage now. Not only prepare for getting food and just preparing for what's about to come physically, but prepare yourself spiritually by staying in the word and also looking at videos and prayer. Whatever you got to do, to gird yourselves mentally for what's about to happen during Jacob's trouble. You hear this guy talking about what's going to happen, okay? And at the end of the day, he said his fear, But if you're in this truth, man, you're not gonna have no fear. All right, you might be get shaken up a little bit, but you know, as long as you got the Lord, you honor the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. You got nothing to worry about. All right. But I'm gonna end this video right now. Till next time, Shalom, and all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akakadash, Barak, Shalom.